I'd like to make this video to see if I may be able to help you if you have a problem with your range and associated with the oven, and you think it may be related to the controller and timer assembly. This would apply to Frigidaire and Kenmore Ranges and possibly a lot of others, and that use the Spitfire Controls module. Before going any further, I'd like to mention that working on a stove when the power is still on it is very dangerous, possibly lethal, and you could also cause damage to the controller. So make sure the stove is unplugged before removing the covers on the backsplash and removing this timer. This is a rear view of the Spitfire Controls 3181-84410 timer. Notice on the left there are 3 relays, a big one at the top and 2 smaller ones. These are the subject of the first problem that I ran into. Also on the top you can see there's a 15-pin connector that has to be removed if you want to take the unit out of the oven. And there's also a few smaller relays there as well that are not involved in this. The problem I had was that the switch contacts on the main safety relay are connected to large pads on the back of the board, and after a while those contacts get bad, the solder will melt and sometimes splash down on other parts of the circuit board. That's what happened to me. It blew the circuit breaker, but in some cases you would just lose the operation of the bake and broil. This is the relay that I used to replace the one that had gone bad on the circuit board. I picked a different model, one that has terminals on the top, and this gets around the problem of having the switch contacts on the printed circuit board side, having the solder melt and cause a problem. This one, the terminals connect right on the top directly. Along with the main safety relay, there are also bake and broil relays. I did not have problems with those on my board, but here are the part numbers of those relays, and like the main relay, they're available from DigiKey for a very low price. To remove the circuit board from the plastic enclosure, you have to bend 8 little tabs away from the circuit board. They're mounted along the top and the bottom, and you pretty well can only do 1 or 2 at a time, and start at the left-hand side of the board away from the flex connector. It's possible that when the solder on the circuit board pads connected to the relay melt, that solder may drip onto some part of the front circuit board, the one that has the display on it. It's possible that can cause damage to that board, and if that's the case, then replacing the relay is not going to be the only thing needed to solve this problem. Second problem that I had with my range a few years later, the symptoms were a buzzing sound when you placed the oven in bake or broil. Sometimes the F3 error message would show up, and the display would be brighter and dimmer at different times. Even though the circuit board looked like all of the solder connections were perfect, I found there were bad solder joints on the transformer itself. So I would recommend that you just redo the 6 connections to the transformer on the circuit board. Even though I had no troubles with the temperature probe with the problems that I had, I thought I would mention that it's a RTD, platinum resistance thermometer. It's 1,000 ohms nominal at 0 degrees C, and should measure about 1,100 ohms at room temperature. In order to measure it, you have to disconnect the 15-pin connector, the white connector on the circuit board, and place your meter across pins 12 and 13, and look to see that the measurements that I mentioned above. If it's not around 1100 ohms, or if it's infinity, then the sensor is bad. If you encounter symptoms like the two problems that I've discussed, I hope that these solutions will help you to get your oven back in operation again. Thanks for listening.